What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another Nova video. I think it's I don't know, part 5 maybe. You seen in the last video we got the engine trans out, everything disassembled on the front end. In this video here you're going to see me clean the firewall up and the whole front subframe of the car, get it prepped, and I'm pretty sure in this video you'll see it get painted pretty much up until the point where it's ready for to start going back together. So I'm going to focus on that. I've also got some other little things we're going to focus with. There's a little bit of rot up here in this A pillar I'm going to show you guys, which I'm sure is pretty typical of Novas this year that need fixed, so that might help you out with a Nova you're building. But I know this side's rotted out. I don't know about the other side, but we're going to tackle both at the same time just to get under there, make sure there's no issues going on with it. It'd be pointless to just keep going forward and not at least make sure that other side is good. But I'm gonna bring you guys in closer when I start to do that stuff anyways. Yeah, the core support and the front fender wells, they're out at blast right now. He's saying a couple days I'll have those. So in the meantime, I'm gonna prep the firewall and the front subframe, and he's also got the engine and trans that he's got some stuff he's doing to it. So I've got some time in between while I'm waiting on parts to come back to me to tackle some of this other stuff. So that's what we're going to get on right away. Let's get to work. I'll bring you guys in closer on these A-pillar rot that's happening first, and then we will finish up with getting the front end ready for trim paint after that. Okay guys, here's that spot I was talking about, right inside the A-pillar. You can see this piece is completely rotted. It's gone. And this is a screw-in piece. Up to here, there's 3 screws. 1, 2, 3. And then you got this trim piece that's split here. So I'm slowly going to fold this out. Just start to really work this really slow. You can really mess this up if you're not slow and careful. But just bend this slowly. Get this piece of trim off here. There we go. And then this guy's got a parts car. He's got another one of these. Nova's the same year, or the same body. And he brought up, we know this one here is junk and needs replaced. So he already took the ones off the other car, which are solid, and blasted those. So now they're bare, so I can paint them. But so we're definitely going to replace this one. Actually, we're going to replace both because the other one are ready to go. But I'm thinking that underneath this rot here, there might be some rot on the actual car itself. So won't know until we get in there. So we're going to take both sides apart and then see what we're dealing with underneath there, and then we'll assess from there. Can't help but feel like I lucked out here. I surely did not think that was going to be solid underneath there after looking at this piece here. So apparently we caught it in time. It completely ate this piece, but that is all solid, very solid. So I'll just wire wheel that and it'll be ready to go for some POR all the way up. It's solid, it's good, which is just freaking awesome. Not to have to get in there and do extensive repair on that too. So pretty easy, quick fix. And I noticed that the only spot that rusted like that is where that seam sealer was. So I mean, you need seam sealer, but at the same time it can do you in pretty fast too, because that's definitely why it ate this down here. Is the moisture got in there, you know, the seam sealer trapped the moisture and it ate this part down here. So I'm going to get on the other side, get it taken apart like I did this here, and you know, see what we got there. I don't know if we're taking this trim off. I'm going to talk to him when he comes up. And it might be just as easy to go ahead and take it off while we're right here. It is in good shape. It could be polished, and you do always run the risk of damaging it, getting it off, but I'm confident I can get it off without damaging it. So I think that might be the way to go, is just to take it off and polish it separately and put it back on. But like this piece here is just, I don't see any dings at all. It's perfect. There's a small little ding here, which honestly is probably how it was made. And then all the way across, it's nice on this side. That side over there's got a ding, so I think we're going to take it apart either way. But yeah, anyways, I'll talk to him about that. But this here is a great sign. I can just wire wheel this area, clean it up, POR, and it'll be good to go. So let's get on the other side and take it apart and see what we got over there. So we dodged a bullet with both A-pillars. This one's even more solid. They're both solid, but this one's got less surface rust than the other. Very, very solid. So that is great news. I didn't really want to have to get in there and do all that because it's kind of a tight area, but if I had to, I would do what I have to do. But both sides are solid. I did go ahead and take off this trim up here because it was dinged up. Like I said, the other side's really nice. So I don't know if we're going to take it off or tape it off, one or the other. But I'll ask him about that. But yeah, this here I'm going to wire wheel this to clean it up. It's solid. It's just got surface rust built up in between the two layers. And then wire wheel that A-pillar and over there and coat both of those. And that'll be a wrap for the A-pillar stuff. I'm going to test fit this trunk weather strip now. I keep forgetting to do this. Not because of any fit issues. I know that it'll go in there, I'll close it and leave it shut for a while and it'll form to it. But he had a concern that about fit, not this fitting, but this actually being aftermarket and fitting. Usually I have pretty good luck with aftermarket weather stripping, no big deal usually. I've run into some cases where it didn't fit or it's too long or too short or whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this unpackaged now while it's we're still in the building stage of the car. Get it in there, see how it fits, make sure it's going to work. If not, we're not, so we're not waiting until the very last minute and everything's painted and we're ready to throw it together and this is the wrong piece. So I'm going to get this unwrapped and see how this works out. Okay guys, this stuff I don't think, I've got pieces of the old one. It just, basically ripped all to pieces. It was junk. I think this one is a little bit different than the factory one. I don't mind it. I think it's actually a pretty nice piece. Once it gets, flattened out. But that's another reason I wanted to get it on here is because it's going to sit in the shop for a little bit, the heated shop, and I'll close the hatch down, leave it shut while it sits in here, and it'll just kind of form to where it needs to go, to where, by the time the car's painted, it's already formed to where it needs to go. But yeah, this seal is from OER, and a quick Google search showed me that there's not a whole lot of different companies that I've seen making them for this actual hatchback. So, but so far, it seems like it's going to be all right. Like I said, I'm going to shut it here in a minute. I'm sure it's going to be tighter than what it was, shutting it now, but there's a lot of rubber there, so it's going to need to flatten out, and we'll just let it, close it, let it sit, and while we finish the rest of the car, obviously we'll pull it when we paint, and then it'll go right back in. So, but from first glance, this is going to work out okay for us. So let's shut it and see how that goes. All right, as you guys could see, I had to slam it a little bit more than usual. I usually could just close it with, a finger, but that's pretty typical. It was fit without weather stripping, so, that shut, it didn't really take much pressure to shut it. But after sitting in here, it's a brand new piece of weather stripping, so after sitting in here for, a week or a couple of weeks or whatever, that will go away where you have to, shut it hard like that, because it's going to form to that, combined with the warm temperatures in here. And the pressure being on it constantly, it's going to form to that. So I'm definitely happy with that. It shuts, good. It's nice and tight. This wasn't tight before. The trunk would kind of rock where it was at from side to side, so now it's good and tight. And that's one thing to check off our list. I know that weather stripping is going to work. So about the only thing left to do now that I can do right this minute is wire wheel those A-pillars and get onto the firewall finally. All right, guys, time's come. I'm going to work on this firewall. We're going to clean it up good. Start sanding it, prepping it for paint. I got my boy Miles here. He's going to help me with cleaning it and scrubbing it and sanding it and all that good stuff. So I'm probably show you a little bit in real time, but then I'll tell you on the time lapse. It's gonna be a lot of work, a lot of scrubbing, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, let's get going so we can get this thing done. Alright guys, I had a couple more things to take off. He's got some other motor mounts we're going to use, so I took those off, and I took off the front brake lines. I'm going to leave that rear one for now. It's going to get replaced, but I'm just going to get on ahead and start on this front end, and I'll get that later. I'm going to use some simple green. I diluted it just a little bit. We're going to soak this front end. This will be the first initial clean on the grease and all this stuff down in here. Our first initial clean. We're going to soak it, and then we're going to let it sit for a few minutes, and I'm going to scrub it with the red Scotch-Brite to where I'm cleaning and kind of scuffing the surface at the same time, as far as that goes. But first, I'm going to put a little bit of masking tape on areas that I absolutely really don't want to get water or cleaner in. This electrical harness, I'm going to put quite a bit of tape on it, and then these holes over here. There's no carpet or anything in the car, but I still just want to keep the water and stuff out of there. It's less cleanup for me. So I'm going to put some masking tape on those two, and then we're going to soak this whole front end with some degreaser and see where we're at from there. It might be enough to, clean it up there to go. This stuff's pretty strong, so it might be enough to just roll on from there. If not, we'll soak it a couple different times and clean it a couple different times. So let's do that, get some masking on this, and coat this with degreaser and see where we end up. All right, as you guys seen in the video, I took this sway bar out and I popped these springs out. I guess we're going to modify those springs or get new ones. He wants the front end a little bit lower on it. So either way, I had to take them out. We're going to do something with them. Me and the boys have been wire wheeling, sanding, cleaning, degreasing, going to town on this front end. Mainly just using a wire wheel and an angle grinder. That is just eating up, you know, all the seam sealer, the paint, the old paint, surface rust, everything. So, and then using that degreaser on top of it, it's working out really well. So, I'm gonna bring you guys in closer to kind of see up close. You know, it looks pretty good. It's doing a pretty good job. So, all right, as you can see, I'm digging all that seam sealer out, cleaning it up good. Got this plate that was put up here a long time ago. We have a new plate here that's going to go up there to cover that hole. We are going to be putting vintage AC in this car, so I did go ahead and hammer and dolly. You're supposed to hammer and dolly this little flange deal flat, and we've got a big plate that covers like all this. I don't have it here yet, but when I do, I'll show you guys that. But yeah, all that seam sealer along that whole line is all out of there. I've got some more sanding to do up on top of the cowl, not too much more, but a little bit more. But yeah, the firewall's coming out really clean. You know, it should be really good. Look really good once we epoxy it and put the top coat on it. This up here is coming out real good. I will rust treat this, little bit of surface rust, but I mean it's solid, it's clean, it's good. No big thing there. So at this point here, I'm really close to being able to go on to the refinishing stage. I'm gonna wait till we get this close off panel in so I can see what all that covers. I think there might be a couple holes I need to weld up on here. A couple of them we're going to keep for wiring and whatnot, but for the most part it's really close as far as the heavy, you know, degreasing and sanding and all that stuff goes. I got a little bit more on over here that I haven't got, but I'm not removing the brake booster master cylinder. I'm just going to mask it up and blow paint in behind it. It'll be fine. It's really not a mess behind there too much. It was mainly over in this area. So yeah, the A-arms are cleaned up, the subframe's cleaned up good. So yeah, it's gonna look really good. I think you guys are gonna be shocked how good it's gonna look once it's epoxied and the top coat put on it. As you can see, I haven't done this side yet. That's kind of like the before, where that side over there was more the after. So I mean, it's hidden. You don't see it once the car's done. It's just, I don't know, the fact of knowing that it was cleaned up and re-seam sealed with fresh seam sealer and coated, you know. So, and this windshield is going to come out, and the top of the dash pad's going to come out, and the top of the dash is also going to get painted. Actually, the whole dash is going to get painted, the face and the, you know, the top and all that stuff. But I'll probably break it up and paint like from here down the whole front end, and then I'll go into there, you know, back mask this and go into there and paint that. So but yeah, I just want to give you guys a closer look at what's going on. There is still probably another hour or so of wire wheeling and cleaning on this front end, but it is really super close. And then once I feel like I've got it ready as far as the sanding and wire wheel and all that goes, I will take some Dawn dish soap, scrub it real good, just as an extra precaution to get any kind of oils off or anything like that. And then just blown off, and it'll get, you know, epoxied and top coated. So I'm gonna wrap this video up here, guys. I thought I was gonna go ahead and get this all painted in this video, but I think we're already gonna be close to 20-30 minute long video, so I don't want to put all that in this video and have a super long video. So in the next video though, for sure, this whole front end will get epoxied and painted, seam sealed as well. It'll get epoxied, and then I'll do my seam seal on top of the epoxy, and then we'll top coat it and start putting the front end back together. I do have the core support back that's been blasted and the wheel liners. So I'm going to paint all this, the core support and the wheel liners at one time. Then I can bolt those back together and final fit my fenders while he has the engine, and keep rolling on with this thing. I think we're about as far taken apart as we're going to go. Maybe there's actually a couple little things going to come apart still. But it's going to be nice to see this painted and be able to start seeing it go back together, you know. So pretty pumped about that. But I'm going to end this one here. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. and come back for the next video, because that'll be an exciting video on getting everything painted on the front end, more useful information on some products I'm going to use. If you guys are doing the same thing, I'll review some stuff I use usually, and you guys can see it up and close, what it would look like on your car, or or if you don't like what you see, then you know not to get that stuff. But either way, I think you'll like it. And yeah, on that note, we're gonna move on, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks, guys.